What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 104, UFC Vegas 95. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. 10-fight card here. Not the best card, if I'm to be truthful here. Weight misses as well. A lot of fights that have been pulled, new opponents. Tread lightly on this card, I would say. But who knows? Some of these cards that, this happens and somehow we do the best on these cards. So, Tim, 10-fight card, a lot of nonsense. Not a very good week last week as far as Lambo plays. Couldn't really get anything going. Yeah. How do you feel about this great card?
Well, great. Like you mentioned, great. Great can be like the Great Depression. Like it doesn't always have to be like a good thing, right? So great can always be, can go either way. Yeah, this is a card. This is definitely a card. I won't say anything other than this is a card. It's got fights on it. Thank God we can bet on it, because if not, we would not be watching this shit show. Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, this card is, it's probably one of the worst in a long time. It
is definitely. I was looking at it. It's definitely got to be the worst maybe the worst of all of 2024.
Let's go shout out our chat, and maybe that's going to make us happier here. Dixon, what is up, man? Narco and Tim, our wallets are going to be fatter than Chelsea Chandler after tomorrow night. That girl's something else. We'll talk about her in a second. I get Dave. Let's effing go, my man. Jackie Blaine, money in the place to be with Timmy T and Narco C. I like that, Jackie. Welcome. Christian, hey, Narco and Tim in chat. Let's piss those bookies off. I would love to piss them off. Lambos are the only way to play this card. Best in the business. Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate you, my man. FK Cooler says this card is uglier than Rosa's Jr. But we will be there no matter what. Poor guy. Azure Blue, thank you for showing up for less than a stellar card. Good luck on your bets, everyone. Smash the likes right away. And please show support for Tim and Narco Cop. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Bufu on the beat. Blessings, my friend. Always a pleasure having you. Black M says, let's get it. Kyle Larson says, let's go cash in this weekend. Yeah, I would love that. Great boxing live. Oh, dude, boxing live was incredible last week. Yeah. Free UFC bets. We in here. Yes, my man. Thank you for joining. Steverson says Lambo times. Mr. Jingles in the house as well. Jenna Marie, welcome. What is up, Luke? Appreciate you, my man. Aussie fight fan. Only 10 fights, but plenty of props. You know that. Fade the polar bear, says D07. Mushroom MMA is in the house as well. Welcome, my friend. Arturo, bonjour, my friend. Welcome. Brahma Bisa, I don't know what he's saying. Forget about that. Let's effing go. Remdoc says Lambo plays for a used Toyota Corolla card. Yeah, this is definitely a used Toyota Corolla card. With that being said, for this used Toyota Corolla card, I have a whisper bet. So that's the good news. The bad news is Dan Levy's in the house. That's good news. Smash the like, the man says. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Yeah, let's start out here, Tim. 10 fights. Maybe we can go through this a little quick here because there's not a lot of intense action in this card. We'll start out with the first fight of the night, and it is in the strawweight division. It is the 5-1-1 Stephanie Luciano versus the 5-0-1 Talita Alan Carr. And Tim, start us off. This is a rematch. Dana White's Contender Series. How do you feel about this?
I mean, pretty binary fight. If Luciano can keep the fight standing, she should roll. If Alan Carr can get her down in 2 rounds and survive, she should probably win as well. Pretty much see it going a couple different ways. I think if you're on Alan Carr, I think her points at plus 215 and split at 8-1 is solid. I think it could be close, similar to last fight. If she doesn't get, she went like 4 of 20 something on takedowns last fight. So it wasn't like she needed a lot of takedowns to actually get the control. It wasn't like a rinse and repeat over and over and over. It was, she was able to get some good control time once she was able to get her down. But the percentages of her takedowns just aren't great. She's super, super small. Luciano is just way bigger. Luciano's also coming back from dengue fever. I haven't really heard anything about it except sounds really bad. But maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that. But yeah, I just think at the last round, if Luciano has done anything, obviously it was a little bit of a gassing from Alan Carr in the last round. Big fight for her. She was pushing as hard as she could to probably try to keep her down. I think that contributed a little bit to the gassing, but I just feel like on the feet, if Luciano's improved at all on her takedown defense and can sprawl and brawl a little bit better, kind of like she did in round 3, I think that it's possible that she could KO Alan Carr here, especially late. So KO is plus 450, KO 2 is 14-1, KO 3 is 20-1. Probably goes to decision, but I think it's worth a stab after she almost got her out in round 3.
Yeah. Rematch. I mean, I think there's a couple of lines that are off, to be honest. I don't have like a take, like who's going to win this fight. I passed. But what we can tell from the first fight is that, Alan Carr got some takedowns early. She got to some dominant positions early. She has one fight in the UFC, which helps you. We always talk about UFC jitters, the first fight in the UFC. She's past that, right? She had that fight. I don't know if she won that fight, to be honest. I watched it, and I think Ryan won the fight, but it is what it is. They gave it to her. But it just seems like her wrestling, she's got a good single leg, but outside of that, she really doesn't have anything else as far as wrestling is concerned. She is a world-class BJJ girl, So, like, you're talking about world-class BJJ girl. She got some pretty good positions in the first fight, and they're still giving you sub at plus 700. I just feel like, I don't know if she's going to get it, but just watching the first fight, you'd have to think that line is kind of off, right? Because talking about a world-class BJJ girl, if she's getting the fight to the ground, then she's going to have some opportunities to get a sub, right? And it's 7-1. Then the other one is like Luciano round 3. What did we see from the first fight? Like, she had her on death's door. And then now all of a sudden they're giving us 18-1 on just round 3. I don't even want to mess with KO, because you never know. It could be one of those gas jobs where she can finish her with who knows what kind of submission. But 18-1 on round 3. I mean, she had her on death's door. She almost finished her. And now you're telling us it's 18-1. I know there is some things to consider there. One is that she took the fight on short notice, Alan Carr, and she shot, absurd amount of takedowns. But look at the Rayan dos Santos fight. The cardio again pops up in round 3. She doesn't look good in round 3 again. And that's a fight that, she didn't miss 20 takedowns, and she didn't take the fight on short notice. So I don't think she manages her cardio too well. Maybe she's a little too emotional inside the cage. I don't know what it is, but this girl she was a triathlete before. She does all these Spartan courses. She should have good cardio, but whatever it may be, I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I think those two lines kind of feel off to me. Maybe they're square, but yeah, that's all I have for that fight. Moving on, fight number 2. It is in a featherweight division. It is the 14-5-1 Jarno Aarons versus the 14-5-1 Yusuf Zalal. Same exact record. That's pretty funny, including a draw, right? Yeah, this is another one where I have an Aarons money line bet at plus 310. I believe I got it in getting reverse CLV here because the line keeps creeping up. But I do think that round 3 is pretty live for Zalal, just off of what I watched on the Choi fight, what I watched in some other fights. And the main thing that sticks out to me is the leg kicks, man. Like this guy takes way too many. He doesn't react well to them. The other thing is he can be grappled, obviously. But if this fight is standing like for long periods, I don't think it's This line is nowhere near correct. Now, Zalal might be able to get this fight to the ground, and he should. It's going to matter of how does Jarno react to the takedowns? Does he get up? Does he play off his back? Because I do think he has good jiu-jitsu. It's just that I don't think it's going to be good if he just sits there and plays off his back. So, Zalal round 3 is 11-1, but Zalal KO 3 is 30-1. Like, what's stopping him from, if he's chopping the leg and this guy can't stand? And if you remember the Choi fight, he hit him with a leg kick and he dropped to his back, right? And Choi went into his guard. If Choi told him to get up and probably chopped one more time, fight would probably been stopped. He literally couldn't stand up. So, Zalal 11-1 round 3, Zalal 30-1 KO 3 is the sprinkle I like here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think there's a couple different things on this fight. Obviously, I think the money line is like a massive overcorrection just from his last fight. I mean, you're getting dog money on him versus Billy Q, and comes back and obviously finishes him. Billy Q seems a little bit washed to me. Aaron's had a good performance his last fight against Steve Wynn, which doesn't really say anything for this fight. Problem with Aaron's with me is just like getting kind of grapple fucked by William Gomi is not a good look. Dude's not typically grappling guys and getting him down the way he is. He's a physical guy, but he's just not typically grappling guys and wrestling them down like that. I think if Zalal gets, he's not like phenomenal wrestler, but I think that he's a good wrestler. He's solid. He's a very solid grappler, super durable, has the cardio to fight for 15 minutes. But both these guys, I think that Aaron's decision is like it's a crazy line. I think it's 6-1. Split decision for him is 16-1. I think if Aaron's wins, it's probably a split. It's probably something like that. But I'm with you on the round 2, round 3. But I also think like Sub is, I think Sub is live if he gets a back take. I think it's possible he can take his back and maybe sub him in this fight as well. So the sub is plus 300. The sub 2 is 10-1, 14-1. Round 2 is 750. Round 3, as you said, is 1100. So I kind of think that.
So which one do you like? Round 2, round 3 sub? You're saying?
I like the it's probably safer to go round 2 and round 3 at 750 and 1,000. But it is a big, kind of big enough difference at 1,000 and 14-1. But it's probably a bit safer to go with the round 2 and round 3. But I do think I lean that it's sub is the way that it happens. I don't, I think it's more likely.
But you're playing round 2, round 3. You're saying?
Yeah.
All right, we agree there, I guess. Moving on, fight number 3. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 10-1 Carl Williams versus the 7-0 Johanata Diniz. Tim, heavyweights, what do you got?
This is just going back to the well with Diniz again in round 2 and round 3. KO. I think KO is plus 300, so it's enough by itself. But I could see round 1 having some success, getting him down and being able to wrestle maybe he can wrestle for 3 rounds. There's no question about it. But I don't know. I feel like it's not like Williams is like a dangerous guy on top. Like I just don't feel like he does enough in these fights to of course this will be the fight that he goes out and he's like fucking, Donkey Kong on top and just going ballistic or goes for a sub. The guy never has gone for a sub in his life against guys that have 0 grappling. So of course this will be the fight at insane odds that he goes for the sub against this dude. But I kind of feel that he's gotten rocked. He got rocked against Tafa. Tafa was just an idiot throwing a flying knee and throwing kicks to be able to get taken down. I think that Diniz is got as much or more power than Tafa and is probably a little bit more athletic. Hopefully he's worked on some takedown defense, but I don't even think like even if he worked on his takedown defense that much that he would be able to consistently stop takedowns from Carl. I think the most likely outcome in this fight is Carl Williams by decision. It's plus 140, so I'm not going to give that. So I do think though that Diniz has the power to knock him out. I think it's pretty clear. If he's selective with his shots and he connects on him, we've seen Williams get rocked before, so I think that this is possible that he could get knocked out. So plus 300 for KO. KO2 is 9-1. KO3 is 18-1. So probably a decision by Williams, though.
Yeah, I agree with you in some sense, and I disagree in you in another sense. I agree that he can knock him out, but Carl Williams, I don't know. He's been hurt before, right? Plenty, like a couple of times, and he just uses his wrestling to kind of like clinch people after he gets hurt. And I feel like the same shit's going to happen here. Like, I do think he can get takedowns, but I think this is that fight, honestly, that a sneaky decision prop on Diniz at plus 850 and plus 870. You can get 870 on Fanatics. You can get 850 on Hard Rock and 365. I think it's a really sneaky look in the sense that we've seen Carl Williams get a lot of takedowns but do zero damage. But we can also see a scenario where Diniz like rocks him on the feet, right? Hurts him visually, and then he clinches him, and then eventually gets him down, but doesn't do any damage. So then he loses the round. And I could see two of the rounds, honestly, going that way. So I kind of feel like Diniz sneaky decision at 850, man. Plus 870, plus 850. I know the most likely outcome if it hits decision is probably Carl Williams. But why can't I see a scenario where he gets rocked and you know, just, I mean, look at the Sherman fight, for instance. Like, that's a pretty damn close fight, right? And Chase Sherman's awful. So, yeah, I mean, Diniz has more power, obviously, a lot more power.
I could honestly 22-1.
How much?
22-1.
I didn't even look at it, but I looked at decision and I'm like, okay, there's a scenario that this happens because I see every time that Carl Williams gets hurt, he reverts to clinching and wrestling. And I think he could probably do that again here.
In that iteration of what you're saying in that fight, it does a lot of times those kind of fights do go split where you're saying like the guy gets a lot of top time, doesn't do it, and the other fighter gets like maybe a minute, either a moment or like a minute and a half of striking. And you're like, okay, this guy won 80% of the round, and you know, maybe one judge's seat. You just never know what they're given credit for.
Lax says it was 30-27, Sherman. Yeah, but I think it was a lot. What I meant is it's closer than what the decision was too. I mean, that fight wasn't like one-sided. Carl Williams landing takedown after takedown. Also, like Sherman just doesn't have the power Diniz has where he can make it. You know, he could swing around with a big shot. Is what I'm saying. Is like he can hurt him, or visually rock him, and then now you're behind the 8 ball in that round for Carl Williams. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest take, but I think it's kind of sneaky, honestly. Diniz decision. The other thing is I don't know about his cardio. His cardio is kind of, we don't know. Like, yeah, he knocked the guy out in round 2, but Carl's going to bring a lot more grappling pace. So does it happen more than 1 out of? I think so. I think it's possible to happen more than 1 out of 10. That's why I think it has value. I honestly think it could happen more than 2 times out of 10 where he rocks, because Carl, I don't think he's like a chinny guy. I think he's pretty tough. Like, he got hit with flush shots against Tafa. Yeah, he got rocked, but you've seen he still went for the single leg. He still went for the clinch. And I do see a scenario kind of similar to that happening. Or it could be standing and Diniz is just gun shy a little bit. He lands some shots, but he's not going full bore because he doesn't want to get takedowns, get taken down. I think that can happen as well. But yeah, I mean, most likely Carl Williams, I think, wins a decision. But I think the line's a little too big for Diniz by decision, to be honest. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 17-6 Carol Rosa versus the 16-8 Pani Kianzad. And I will kick this one off. I think Rosa can win this either by KO or sub, to be honest. I think it could be either or. I think she hits hard on the feet. And I think she's way, way better grappler of the two. So I'm going to go with ITD on Carol Rosa at plus 500. But, and this is a big but, if you have Rivers, I will give you guys this number. Rosa by sub is 18-1. I mean, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. 18-1 on the girl that's the much better grappler if she gets this fight to the ground and is on top. Fuck that. That's a bananas line to me at 18-1 on Carol Rosa by submission. So that's my gift to you guys today, because everywhere else it's like that's like $8 more than any place else. It's such a like click right away if you have Bet Rivers. I mean, it doesn't make sense that it's 18-1. But yeah, I think it's probably standing for the most part. Rosa against Vieira, like she's supposed to grapple. She doesn't grapple. She gets into this firefight. An absolute barn burner, though, you know, like I'm sorry, Aldana, an absolute barn burner of a fight. I mean, it was an insane fight, man. Blood everywhere. You know, just a great fight. And here you have, you know, Panny Kianzad rolling around on the ground with Macy Chase on, making a big mistake, getting her back taken and subbed. Like, was that a quit job? Like, I don't even know what the fuck that was, but she did not look good. I like Rosa here in general, but yeah, I think she might be able to finish her, man. If she actually goes to grappling, I think there's definitely a path for finish, either ground and pound or submission. What do you like here, Tim?
Well, I was looking down at my phone a bunch there because I had to put money on the 18-1 on Rivers. Yeah, no, my bet is the Rosa by sub, and I'm prepared to completely lose that by her fighting like a dumbass in this fight and going to decision or anything like that. Interesting thing about, like, Panny's never gone to a split decision, I don't think. So she's usually either losing or winning unanimously. I feel like just the fight IQ, you said, I mean, like the fight IQ for Rosa is like, it just doesn't seem right. Like, it just is, she just does not seem to make the right decisions. Even when she gets fighters down, like, she just doesn't really do that much a lot of times. So I'm prepared for us to lose these ITD and sub bets, but I went with sub. I think sub 18-1 is comical with how bad that line is. I mean, that's just a fantastic line. Makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, it's just, again, it's just, does she grapple? I mean, you have a women's MMA fight where there's a clear grappling advantage, and you're giving 18-1 on sub is just fucking ridiculous. So I'm prepared to lose it, but that's just a stupid line.
I also think she looked in great shape, by the way. That's the other thing. I think she's kind of peaking with her shape, to be honest. Like, she used to come in pudgy a lot, like very, very pudgy. She looks really good at face-offs, man. Sparring says she left PRVT, which is kind of interesting for this camp. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You say it's interesting in what way? Like in a bad way or a good way? What way do you mean by interesting? I don't know. I think she wasn't she like cross training even so, like PRVT and some other place. I'm not sure. She's always with her girlfriend, so I'm not sure where she's even training. Honestly, I saw her at the PI and stuff, but I'm not really sure where she's training now. Let's move on. Fight number. She's still only 29, which is kind of crazy. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 8-4 Charampoulos Gregorio versus the 10-4 Toshomi Kazama. Tim, you gotta pronounce both names and then give us the breakdown.
All right, so Charlampos Gregorio versus Toshiomi Kazama.
You did better than me.
That's how it's done, fellas. That's how it's done. Now I'll mess up their names a bunch when I'm talking about them during the fight. I think both these guys are really, really just not good. I think this is just a classic giant douche first turd sandwich type fight. But one of the guys seems to have like just a little bit more skill, like across the board. Like I just think is a better striker clearly in Gregorio. I think I agree with Joel S that Gregorio can crush. I feel like Toshiomi Kazama's like striking defense and striking in general is really, really bad. And he's gone into these last couple fights like once he realizes that if he realizes he can't get takedowns, he just goes full rabies mode and just gets murdered. I think Gregorio by KO round 1 used Corolla plus 240. These KO lines for him are awful. KO 2 is plus 450. I think he probably gets him out of there in round 1, but just in case round 2 for him as well. But I just don't. I don't think that they're like the wrestling and takedown ability for Kazama is really that good either. I mean, maybe if he can land a takedown, that he could do something with his jiu-jitsu. This is a strong part of his game, but I really don't think either one of these guys is good.
I watched tape on this fight, and I came back with one thought: both guys suck. And honestly, that's literally what I came back with. I'm like, and I taped a lot of Gregorio fights, and I'm like, man, for a supposed high level kickboxer, whatever the hell he did, this guy is not very freaking good. One thing, there's a couple of things I don't like about this guy. One thing is he throws one strike at a time, which is terrible. He doesn't know how to throw in combinations. It's one kick at a time. It's one big punch at a time. Like he's always looking for a big shot, and he's not very technical, to be honest. Like he's throwing looping shots. He does have power in his hands, and I do think the guy is very physical in the sense that, like, when he gets into clinches, he usually wins. He's the one taking people down because he's stronger than them. But then you have the other thing that this guy has a very, very bad gas tank. And it's rearing its head in a lot of fights. It's not just the last fight against N. Helander. It's many fights that extend. He's always getting tired, this guy. And then I watched the other guy's tape, and it's like, what am I watching here? The guy really is not a good striker. He has like no wrestling. His wrestling is basically this body clinch in the middle of the cage. Like he's trying to trip you. He's trying to do these weird things to get you down. And there's no conventional wrestling at all from this guy. And then when he gets you down, he does have jiu-jitsu. He has this tricky Japanese jiu-jitsu, I like to call it, like those chicken wing submissions and those weird freaking submissions, right? But he's sneaky with them, and he's good with them. The thing is, like, he got knocked out by Nakamura, who is, when I went back to watch that fight, and I'm like, why on God's earth would he take this fight? Like, Kazama needs to get the fight to the ground to win. There's no chance he's getting Nakamura down. Like, Nakamura is way more physical. He's a way better wrestler. Like, you're just not getting him down. And then on the feet, he hits like a truck. And it's like this guy had no chance to win that fight. Like, zero. He was done. Then he fights a guy, the next fight, again, in my opinion, zero chance to win. And I bet him like an idiot against Armfield, thinking he might get takedowns, because I'm like, the Nakamura fight, I'll throw it out the window. He's too tough to get. Maybe he can get Armfield deeper in the fight and get him down. No. Armfield killed him with the jab, killed him with the combinations. And he took a lot of shots against Armfield. Eventually, it was stopped. But Armfield, to me, is way better than Gregorio, especially the striking. It's way crisper. He uses the jab a lot. He's just a way better, way faster striker, way better in general in the striking. So then I'm looking at this fight, and I'm like, well, this guy needs to land a big shot, one shot, and he's just not very good, honestly, at striking. Like it's not throwing combinations. And even Kazama, that's bad. He could see these punches probably coming. I think round 3, if this gets to round 3, Kazama wins it at a high clip. I think round 1 is probably Gregorio. I'm going to go split here, Tim. 750. Fight ends in split at plus 750. Another kind of, I guess, sneaky one. Everybody thinks this fight's going to end. I don't think Kazama is going to be able to sub Gregorio, honestly. I think this guy's at Longo. He's faced grapplers before. He's facing a bunch of really good grapplers at Longo. I just don't think Kazama has it to sub this guy, honestly. So I do think the fight possibly goes to decision, man. If this fight goes past the first round, I think it hits the scorecards, honestly. Because I think Gregorio, he's like round one kind of knockout, maybe early part of round two. But outside of that, I don't think he's getting a knockout. Honestly, he's not. I mean, maybe, I guess leg kicks. He's got 2 knockouts via leg kicks, which is funny as hell. 2 of his knockouts are via leg kicks. So maybe that, but the Kazama moves around a lot. So I don't know if he's going to be able to leg kick him to death. So yeah, for me, I'm going to go with split here. Plus 750. I don't know. What's Gregorio decision? That's probably how I lean. 3. Oh, that's not bad, honestly. 360 Gregorio by decision. I don't mind it. I think that's the way I would go. Gregorio decision 360 and fight ends the split. Let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the bantamweight division, but Chelsea Chandler forgot that it is in the bantamweight division, so she decided to weigh in for featherweight division. But anyways, it is the 14-8 Yana Santos versus the 6-2 Chelsea Chandler, and I'll kick this one off. I mean, Chelsea Chandler's second straight fight, she misses weight. This time, she misses by 5 pounds. Really bad. She looked awful again. I mean, I don't know why this girl, she cannot make 35. She cannot. She's too big. She likes to eat too much, or I don't know what the deal is with her, but, Santos used to fight at 45 some, and she looks chiseled. She looks in shape. She's ready to fight. She gave Yana Santos the thumbs down at face-offs. And I'm sorry, Yana Santos gave Chandler the thumbs down at face-offs. You know what Chandler did? She ran off, dude. She turned around and ran off the face-offs. She gave the thumbs down. It was the funniest look, dude. She looked like she was upset. She wanted to cry. There's really not much here, dude. I don't know what to give on this fight, honestly. I think Santos wins a decision, if you want to know. Plus 105. I mean, what am I going to get? That's plus 105. The only other thing I can give is round 3 Santos. But I don't even think it happens, honestly. Round 3 is what? 20-1, maybe? Something like that. 18-1. What is it? Yeah, it's 28-1. 28-1 round 3. How about that? Let's go with round 3 Santos at 28-1. I don't know. I don't even know if this girl's training correctly. This Chelsea Chandler chick. What do you have here? The thing is, people are saying she cuts a lot of weight. She's the girl is 33 years old. Okay, I mean, you would think. I mean, she cut down to 37 last time, so she fought at 35 before. So I don't want to hear that excuse that she can't make weight. She's big. She's not trying, bro. I don't think she's trying hard enough. She loves to eat. It's all those tacos she's eating or something. I don't know what she's eating. Where does she live, by the way? Colorado? No, Stockton, California. She's definitely eating a lot of tacos over there in Stockton. Guaranteed. She's joining Nick Diaz and them eating those tacos and Coronas. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Round 3, 22.
Yeah, I mean, I have a story about Chelsea Chandler that, she is so fat that when she broke her leg, that gravy poured out. So that's a confirmed story about her. Yeah, I mean, I think it's only kind of like one of two things kind of happens in this fight. I think Chandler is like, again, does she fight to her best paths? Sometimes, like the last fight, she stood way too long with Nunes instead of trying to take her down and just keep grappling her, and I don't know. I just don't know what to expect from her. Obviously, she's missed weight by a ton here. I mean, it's not even really like a bad weight miss, like where it's really close and she's she's putting herself through hell to get there. I mean, like being over by 5 to 6 pounds in a fight where there could be clinching and grappling is it's a major thing. I mean, it's going to make her that much tougher to wrestle and grapple in this fight. I think it is possible that she could get. I mean, it's weird. It's like we'll see who's more physical, once the fight gets going. But this is one of those fights where it's like Chandler by points plus 250, Chandler by split plus 800. I think it's going to be like a shit ton of clinching, a shit ton of cage push, reversing back and forth. Neither one of these fighters likes to really stand at distance and strike with for any long period of time at all. Both could potentially get a takedown. A lot of gravy talk in there. I think I made that joke. A lot of gravy talk. Yeah, no, I just feel it's going to be a bunch of cage push, bunch of clinching, reversing, turning, the other fighter around. Could be greasy on the split. So plus 250 points for Chandler, plus 800 for split for Chandler. Whatever.
He says he thought you were going to say you had sex with her. But oh my goodness, this is brutal. All right, yeah, enough Chelsea Chandler talk.
Oh, by the way, Rivers, we moved the line. Rivers now has the sub for Rosa at 12-1.
I knew it, dude. That line was way off, bro.
Glad I got that bet in.
Yeah, it was way the hell off.
Exactly why I made the bet that time, dude. It's exactly.
I told you it was way the hell off. I saw it today. I'm like, what? Why is this 18-1 here? Are they out of their mind? Anyways, let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 25-2 Chris Gutierrez versus the 8-0 Quang Bang Lee. And this one's yours.
All right, so Gutierrez is fighting Long Duck Dong here, a.k.a. Quang Lee. I don't think that Quang Lee is he's coming in on short notice. Seems to be kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. One of your favorite things to say about fighters. I think he's kind of that. Don't think that he's got really super great grappling or super great wrestling or good jiu-jitsu. Striking is kind of meh as well. I just think that this is going to be, it just depends on how much Chris wants to pursue the calf kick finish here and how much he wants to go for it and how much damage to the leg Quang Lee can take. It seems like he's really heavy on his front foot and the kick should be there. I mean, that's all he pretty much does as well. Chris by KO is plus 200. And I'm not going KO 2 or KO 3. I'm just going round 2 or round 3 because there's 50-cent differences. So round 2 is plus 650. Round 3 is plus 1,000. I could definitely see him just breaking his leg and just, pretty simple. It's pretty much what he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I have. I mean, I watched the first minute of the Teal fight, and I'm like, okay, this Teal landed some nasty fucking low kicks. And I'm like, all right, if Teal's landing these, Gutierrez is going to absolutely destroy this guy's leg. And the problem with Gutierrez, you cannot switch southpaw because he'll switch southpaw with you and blast you more. So the guy is like a really good kicker. He can kick from both stances. He can body kick. He can inside leg kick. And his legs are thick as shit for 35. So, I mean, I guess Quang Bing Lee needs to fucking bang him out early, man. Otherwise, he's going to get – well, I put a Twitter post and I said, is he going to save us? Is Gutierrez going to save this card and save us? I said, yeah, if you like to watch – death by 1,000 cuts, that's what it's going to be here because I think he's going to give him a death by 1,000 cuts with those kicks, dude. So round 2, round 3, 650, 1,000. I do think he's going to finish him, honestly. I'm very low on this guy, to be honest. This Lee guy, I don't think he's very good. He's got a bunch of meme knockouts, and those are just not going to work when you get to the UFC. So yeah, and now he's not only is he, they're bringing him into the UFC, they're actually bringing him against a pretty good fighter in the UFC, a guy that evades a lot of strikes, a guy that, you know, he's a technical fighter. The only thing I will say is one thing is very important to watch here, and I wrote it in my notes, is the fact that the one punch that Gutierrez is susceptible to is the left hook, and that's Lee's best punch. That's the one punch that he drops everybody with, he knocks people out with, and Gutierrez always drops his right hand when he's pulling out, and he can get clipped with that left hook. So that's one thing to watch out for. But I mean, outside of that, I think Gutierrez kills this guy, man, with the leg kicks meanly. Let's move on. Fight number 8. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 8-0 Danny Barlo versus the 12-4 Nikolai Veretennikov. And this one's mine. That's another late replacement here. I went back and forth on this one because I do believe that Barlo probably gets a knockout here. He hits very hard, very good striker, long. But if he doesn't get the knockout, Tim, then Veretennikov is very live to win a decision. I mean, he can grapple some. He's pretty good in the clinch. He lands a lot of knees. He can get trip takedown. His decision is 850, man. It's 850. I mean, like I said, I think Barlo knocks him out. But Veretennikov decision at 850 is, I don't think Veretennikov is knocking out Barlo. I highly doubt he's going to sub him. So if he wins, his win equities should be all towards decision, and they're giving us 8.5 to 1. I mean, his money line's what, 280? What's his money line? 280. So you're telling me you're going to give me $6 more for a decision prop, and I think that's how he wins? Yeah. I mean, Veretennikov by decision at 850, I think is too wide. Like I said, again, I think he gets knocked out by Barlo. I think Barlo wins this fight, but that's value, man. 8.5 to 1 on Veretennikov by decision is value.
Yeah, again, his split is 22 to 1. Same thing, man. That's just, again, I don't see him knocking out Barlo. I think Barlo's got some major tape type advantages here. Obviously, you look at just like metric advantages. When you watch him just striking, he just seems way, way faster. He's way longer. He's a little bit taller. The nickname Left Hand to God is like fucking as accurate as could be. This guy's just knocking guys the fuck out. I feel like I don't disagree with you. I do think that the win condition for Nikolai is a decision or a really close decision. I was kind of, even though he was like plus 280, I was kind of expecting like 550 on decision for him, like 500, 550 range. And then the split being like, I don't know, 12 to 14 to 1 at that range. So these, I mean, I agree with you. Like those lines are like, it's probably trapped, value trap, but I think it's still is really good lines. So I think that's really good picks by you. But I'm going to go with Danny round 2 plus 450, Danny round 3 plus 800. I think that the speed is going to be a huge difference. I also think that Barlo doesn't like go out always like guns blazing. Like he gets some reads on some guys, he checks them out, he stays at range, he sets up his shots really well. And I also think that Nikolai, his speed and his cardio in the beginning, and his speed will probably be enough to kind of stay away, and he knows what he's got to do, and maybe even he tries to clinch a little bit early, or maybe he tries to take him down. I kind of think that Barlo 2-3 is the way to go once he gets Nikolai to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, Nikolai looked really good at face. I mean, pretty big size guy, in shape. Barlo missed by half a pound, or no, sorry, a quarter of a pound, and he decided not to cut the weight. It was so weird. he decided to take a 20% cut on his purse and not cut a quarter pound, which tells me one thing very, very important is he probably had a very, very bad weight cut. If you don't want to even do a quarter pound more, it was probably horrendous. The one thing that was weird, I don't know, can someone in chat elaborate? I don't think they brought the curtain for him. And he was only a quarter pound off. Why wouldn't they bring the curtain? Or maybe I forgot. Can someone let me know if they brought the curtain out? Because if they didn't, that's very weird. Like, why wouldn't they bring the curtain out for a guy that's a quarter pound more? Oh, they did. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't remember that. Okay. I don't remember that. They did. Okay. Okay. And he still missed, huh?
The other thing,
the
too.
The doctor wouldn't let him cut anymore. Oh.
That's interesting.
Okay. So that's weird. The doctor didn't. So it must have been a bad weight cut if the doctor is not letting you cut a quarter pound more. They must have measured whatever they measured, and they're like, nope, you cannot cut anymore. All right.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing about this fight.
That makes more sense then. That makes more sense. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you cut a quarter pound more and not pay the 20%, you know? But that makes sense.
The other thing that's interesting about this fight is it just kind of goes along to your read on the points and possible split for Nikolai is like and I think Michael Morales' striking is solid. Like we've seen that guy come in the UFC and have some really good some good fights, and it's not like in the last few fights for him that he's been grapple fucking guys and like wrestling. But when you watch that fight in Contender Series, like that's what he was touted as. I mean, he wasn't like this, oh, this guy's like this elite striker. It's like, oh, this is a Ecuadorian national champion with wrestling. And it's like that fight was like really close striking wise. It was so close striking wise that Michael Morales is like, dude, I have to wrestle this guy a little bit. I feel like I got to try to get on top. I feel like that's my bigger edge. So I kind of feel like that kind of suits to you a little bit. Like it goes to your point of like, this fight could be closer as long as he doesn't get bonked, as long as he doesn't get like massively dropped in 2 rounds. Like this could be way closer striking than people think or than the line suggests. But I tend to think that the size, I tend to think that the reach advantage and the speed will be the difference here for Barlo. But it could be really close. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, the other one thing I do want to mention in this matchup, the Barlo matchup, is that Barlo did get a knockout in round 3 last fight when he broke his damn arm in round 1, man. That's pretty fun. With the same fucking hand, man. With the same arm, he knocked the dude guy, and he kept drilling him with the left, and it was his left hand that was broken. It's freaking crazy. The guy is definitely built different. I mean, he is built different. So, yeah, we'll see. He's an exciting fighter. Moving on to the co-main event of the night, and it is in the featherweight division. It is the 16-6 Chepe Mariscal versus the 23-6-1 Damon Jackson. And Mariscal misses weight by 3.5 pounds. And this always is happening to poor Damon Jackson. Every opponent. Last one, Alexander. Now this guy. So, Tim, what do you got for us here in this fight?
Yeah, I think Mariscal and Chelsea Chandler were at Chipotle or something the last few days in a row preparing for these fights. Yeah, I mean, it's super cheating. I think it pissed me off when I had my picks, obviously, a little bit earlier before weigh-ins on what I thought would happen in these fights. But I just think that it's a huge fucking disadvantage. You're getting like, it's literally cheating. Like you get plus 3.5 pounds, and there's going to be grappling in this fight. I mean, there's absolutely going to be grappling in this fight. So, I don't know. It's just a question. The question to me is, can Damon get his game off of, instantly clinching, try to get to the cage, try to take the back, even standing, try to get the fight to the ground. And then when he gets the fight to the ground, can he, maintain his positioning? Can he get the back or anything like that? And I don't know. I just think that he can. I think it's going to be harder for him to do it in this fight, obviously now, but Damon by decision. I think Mariscal is like, it's interesting. Like, I think that he's fought certain grapplers where he's performed well. And then I still can't get the Soriano fight out of my head though. So it's kind of like, that was the one fight where it's like, it's 2020, so it's not like, 10 years ago, but he's had some performances where he's shown that he can grapple as well. So I'm not saying like the guy's a fish, or not saying that he sucks grappling, but I mean, Sean Soriano is not a grappler at all. So this guy's been massacred by guys in the grappling realm, and he top timed him for 3 rounds. So I just think that there is a possibility where Damon could either get him down, take his back, have it be a round, take him down, similar maybe even to the Argueta fight, where he just controls him, wins a control type decision, maybe a split for him as well. So decision prop for Damon is just a little bit under 5-1 at plus 490, and split is plus 1200. I'm going to go that route. I think it could be a close decision. Chepe's got a couple of those in the last couple fights as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, he missed weight, 3.5 pounds. The thing I think is different, like I'm seeing people say I think he looked great on the scales. He had a fucking 6-pack. He looked way better than before, honestly, Mariscal. And he missed weight, which was kind of awkward to me. I think he looked much better than what he's looked before on the scales. Honestly, I think I'm going to tell you what I think truthfully about, because I know everybody brings up this Soriano fight. And I truthfully think he was either hurt or sick in that fight, because I'll tell you why. And there's a lot of data behind it. This guy fought Pat Sabatini and was literally neck and neck with him in the grappling, and probably out-grappled him. Definitely out-grappled Zalal. And now you're telling me he couldn't out-grapple Soriano? That he was either sick or he was hurt in that fight, because there's nowhere else that he's getting murdered in the grappling against much better grapplers, right? We're talking about Sabatini and Zalal. They're way better than Soriano. So I can't look at that one fight and say this guy is not. He's a good grappler, in my opinion. He's a good catch wrestler, and he has very good judo. You know how many judo throws he got on Zalal in the regionals? A shit ton. He was fucking him up with the judo throw. He did it to Sabatini. The one thing I noticed with Mariscal, he's a dog, man. He's not easy to submit. He's faced many, many good grapplers. They haven't submitted him. I don't think Jackson's going to submit him. That's for sure. I honestly think Mariscal is going to get more takedowns than Jackson. That's my opinion in this fight. And I think Mariscal is going to cook Jackson, actually, in my opinion. I think he's got way better cardio. It's not even close. Just fucking 2 fights ago, we were talking about how this guy's cardio was dog shit against Billy Q. He could have been finished like 5 times in that fight against Billy Q. But Billy Q just really doesn't have a lot of power. He's like attritional guy, and so many times he was close to finishing that fight, and he couldn't finish it. And this guy was on death's door, Damon Jackson, honestly, since the 2nd round, right? Mariscal keeps coming, man. Guy has very good cardio. And honestly, when I watched it back, that Charrier fight on live, I thought they possibly robbed Charrier. But when I watched it back, I think Chepe won the fight. I think he won that fight. So I look at who Chepe's faced, and it's like, Charrier is a much tougher task than Jackson, in my opinion, because he's super athletic, he's super explosive, and he's a way better striker, right? And he's very fast, so he's tough to like clinch and get down because he's just so athletic and strong. I don't think Damon is way slower. Yeah, he's more of a wily veteran, but I don't think those like fucking double-legged on your knees takedowns are going to work against Mariscal. So I kind of feel like Mariscal is going to cook this guy in round 2 and 3, man. I really do. 650 and 1,000. It's like probably one of my favorite props of the whole card, honestly. Round 2, round 3 on Mariscal. I think he's absolutely going to cook Jackson here. If you thought Quarantillo was bad, wait till you see what kind of pace he brings. He brings a crazy pace, dude. Look at the pace against Charrier. It was nuts. But Charrier is just so athletic and fucking explosive. It was hard. And the guy, Charrier, has gone 5 rounds multiple times. So he's got way better cardio than Jackson. So, and if you watch how that fight ended, fucking Mariscal was on top, pounding on him. Yeah, man. I just feel like this is a this is a Mariscal round 2, round 3. Also, Jackson talks about what a big weight cut it is for him, 45, man. The guy walks around at like 80 and he's cutting to 45. It's a big dude. And every time he's a professional, he makes weight. And it's fucked up that his opponents don't make weight. And if you look at Jackson every time on the scales, he looks like dog shit. He looks like he killed himself, poor guy. But he talks about it. He's open about it. He's like, the last 4 pounds absolutely kill me. And my opponents always miss those last 4 pounds because they know how hard it is to cut those last 4 pounds. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He missed weight. I don't like it, but I think it's an advantage for Chepe not killing himself to make weight, And meanwhile, the other guy, Damon Jackson, killed. Last fight, people are going to look at the last fight. Oh, Damon Jackson looked good, but what do we know historically about Alexander Hernandez? This is a fucking gasser. We've known that for years and years. The guy is a bad gasser. So that was kind of a good matchup for Jackson because it's a guy that doesn't push a high pace and it's a guy that gasses. So that's good for him, But yeah, I really feel good about round 2, round 3, Mariscal here, 650 and 1,000. All right. Main event time. Before we go on to the main event, please hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and also click that link down below for my Dub Club, my Discord channel. I've had a lot of new people that absolutely love the live betting. We killed boxing last week. Last week, boxing was freaking crazy. Tim wasn't in there, but it was nuts after the UFC. We did I think I did like a 15-hour live stream last week. It was crazy. 15 straight hours. I couldn't, it's just nuts. But yeah, link down below. It's $25 a month if you're interested. If you're not, it's up to you, but trust me, it pays back times 10. With that being said, let's move on to the main event of the night, and it is in the heavyweight division. It is the 25-8 Marcin Tybura versus the 16-4 Sergey Spivac, and I will kick this one off here, Tim. This is another one I kind of, I'm getting reverse line movement here, and I'm thinking of trying. I might add another unit to Marcin Tybura. I take this fight and I come off saying the wrong guy is minus 155. The wrong guy is minus 175 in some cases. And I mean, these guys met before years ago, and it's like, okay, whatever. This guy is a little bit older, Tybura. Spivac is more in his prime, but they're heavyweights, right? Where is Spivac better than Tybura? I can't find it. He doesn't have better cardio. He doesn't have better striking. He doesn't have better grappling. So how is this guy minus 170? What am I missing? Is Tybura hurt? Is Tybura coming with, no arms in this fight? Why is he the dog? And maybe I'm missing something. And it could be, honestly, it could be that I'm overlooking something. People all week talked about how, Spivac is going to gain 20 pounds of muscle and he's going to look stronger. He comes in at 238. So that theory is out the window. He did not come in with 20 pounds of muscle. He actually dropped weight back to his original weight when he fought Tybura. So now it's like, what's the path here for it? Spivac has to take him down, in my opinion, and land ground and pound and finish. But I think Tybura is the better grappler, though. This is the problem. So he's got better cardio, the better grappler. I think he's the better striker overall because he has kicks and everything. Spivac only has hands. So what the fuck is this line? How about round 3, 4, 5 on Tybura? Because I think he's better cardio. 19, 22, and 28. How about my whisper bet? Round 3, 4, 5 sub at plus 2,600 on FanDuel. How about that one, Tim?
Yeah, I can show you, man. I got Tybura 3, 4, 5. I don't have the sub, but yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think the only thing that I would not disagree with by a lot is I think in the first fight, I think the striking was 60-40, 55-45 for Spivac. But it wasn't, oh, he's got a huge edge. Like, it wasn't anything big, but I think that his striking was just a little bit better. His boxing was just a little bit better. It's not, I don't think he's more well-rounded of a striker, but I think that just his boxing was a little bit better in that particular fight. But again, it wasn't like, oh, he's clearly a better striker. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you could see that he's got the length, he's doing these combinations that I also don't think that it's like, oh, he's so much more durable than the knock on Tybura forever has been that, like, he can't take punches. Like, dude, I mean, he just survived against Tuivasa. Like, I think that you can make the argument that Spivac has struggles with durability. It might not even be durability as much as he just, when he can't get his game off, he kind of quits. So, I mean, that to me is, I think the takedown defense is better for Tybura. I think the wrestling is more of like a freestyle wrestling from Tybura, and it's more of like Greco-Roman like / judo throws that you're going to get from Spivac and upper body type shit. That's just hard to get Tybura down on that. So also, I feel like if you said like one of them gets taken down, who's the more likely fighter to get up and to work his way up? Like, it's clear Tybura is like better at doing that. So I don't disagree with you, man. I think that this is more, can Spivac fight for 5 rounds? We know that Tybura can. I think Spivac's win equity is probably 1-2, getting either a sub, which I think it'll really be hard to do. I don't even honestly. I think that jiu-jitsu is like at best a push. Probably Tybura has an edge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Tybura has better jiu-jitsu. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of edges for him. So minus if he hasn't fallen off a cliff, at this point at 38, which is, it's rare to see in heavyweight that guys at 38 can't still fight. So they still have a couple more years to do it. Yeah, I'm 3-4-5 for Tybura. I'm going to definitely, I like your 26-1 on the split for that. That's a beautiful call. So 19-22, and I think it's 26 or 28-1
Not
for
split by sub.
No, I'm sorry, not split. I meant sub. My bad.
Yeah, by sub 3-4-5. Because you said split. I'm like, no, I didn't say split.
My bad. Yes.
All right. 10 fights. We went through 10 Lambo plays. Time for the Lambo Parlay. I'll kick this one off this week. Nice and easy. Last 2 fights of the night. I'm taking Tybura 3-4-5, and I'm taking Mariscal 2-3. So mix and match 3-4-5. So basically, if you're on FanDuel, go 3-4-5 KO with Mariscal 2, 3-4-5 KO with Mariscal 3, and then sub 3-4-5 with Mariscal 2, and sub 3-4-5 Mariscal 3. It's fucking insane odds. There's like 280-1, and I mean, very, very big odds on these two. And hopefully Mariscal can start us off, give us that sweat, and then Tybura comes through at the end of the night, and then it's pants off, Tim.
That's right. I like it. I did Barlo 2-3 mixed with Chris Gutierrez 2-3. Just no special method or anything like that. Just their round props 2-3. It goes anywhere from 37-1 to 98-1. So
I don't mind Gutierrez 2-3. I forgot about that one. I think that's a good one. That's a sneaky. It's exactly the same price as Mariscal. So I mixed that in with Tybura. That's literally the same exact price. It's $650 and $1,000, and so is Mariscal, $650 and $1,000. So that's maybe I add that as well, just in case Mariscal doesn't come through. But Mariscal is my favorite prop, honestly. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Just those two. Yep.
All right, guys. 432 of you in here. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. 225 on X, 207 on YouTube. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel. By the way, update. I do need to tell everybody, since you're all here. Starting Monday night, it is going to be around 9:30 Eastern time. I will have the Dana White's Contender Series Week 1 show. It's going to be me and Pepe Silva, Week 1. of the Dana White's Contender Series. If you guys want to see it, great year last year I had in Dana White's Contender Series. Trying to do the same thing again this year. I love the Dana White's Contender Series, dude. One of the best shows. Yeah, Monday here on my channel, 9:30 Eastern. Week 1 for Dana White's Contender Series. I like to do it late because I want to see the weigh-ins, the props come out, everything's going to be out, and we get to play with some things there. So, yep, Dana White's Contender Series. Don't miss it. This Monday, 9:30 Eastern. You have anything else, Tim?
No, man. You guys are definitely should be tuning into that shit because Narco's great on the regionals and has so much experience in betting these guys and this at this level, and not a lot of people have really great data on these fighters. And you've been watching these guys for fucking ever, so definitely wasting some money if you're not watching that show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. Those, by the way, those shows, I will say, the best value on props are on those shows.
Absolutely,
because they don't have a lot of data. They don't have takedown data. They don't have all that stuff, right? You have to watch tape, and I know a lot of these guys. I watch a lot of their tape, so a lot of those lines are really off because a guy doesn't have a sub, but he's probably attempted 100 subs in 4 fights or something, you know. And so there's just not, they don't have the data to properly line these, and the market basically makes the lines for them, but it's still not efficient. So
didn't like over 50% of the dogs win last year, something crazy like that.
I don't know, but I had a great year last
year.
I think
I said something like that.
I had like a 27 unit total win through Dana White's Contender Series last year. It was a good year. The year before, not so well. I think I lost like 10, but the year before that, I won like 70 units the one year. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow. It's a 6:00 p.m. start, so it's a late card. There is some great boxing tomorrow as well. There's 2 cards. Angelo Leo versus Flores, and there's Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Bokachek. We have bets on both of those cards. So, yeah. Guys, if you don't go in my Discord, you're losing money. I'm telling you guys. It's the honest to God truth. I mean, we kill fucking live bets every week. It's crazy. But anyways, thank you to everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us every Friday. Thank you very, very much. And one last thing, Tim. Let's fucking cash those tickets for UFC Vegas 95